Today let's do a quick comparison between the two video games masterpieces, Stella Blade and Horizon Forbidden West. Both games features female leads and futuristic world, but with distinctive difference, especially when it comes to the characters' physical appearance, movement, and fighting style. First, let's jump in with the characters. Both of them are not traditional human beings. In Horizon Forbidden West, Aloy is a clone which was revealed in the previous game, Horizon Zero Dawn. And in Stella Blade, Eve is basically an android, which we can tell from this clip when sparks appears in her body. As far as appearance, Aloy has a look of a young attractive European girl with red curly hair and with a slightly wider bone structure, look like someone who has to find her own way around the world. And Eve was created to look like a young attractive Asian girl with long straight dark hair, perfect skin, slim body, and from their body movement you can tell they have vastly different personality. Eve wears high heels and walks like a well-educated, refined young Asian girl. When she runs, her eyes are deadly focused and look straight ahead. Her body has no unnecessary movement. It's like a woman on a mission, which makes sense since she's part of the Special Force squad. Everything she does is well refined and trained. And one of the amazing details to show here is when she draws her weapon, her facial expression also changed to a very serious, ready-to-kill look. For Aloy, when she walks, you can tell she's very independent. She follows her own rule and her own belief. And when she runs, for some reason her face is all blurry, but her body is opened up, looks like she's ready to face attack from any angle, also scare away the enemies, which reflects her identity. A young, strong woman, a huntress, growing the wild by herself alone. Everything she knows, she probably taught herself. Everything is about surviving the wild. Now let's talk about costume. Both of the games feature massive amount of costume. Eve's clothes are mostly on the sexy, tight, designer, business casual style. Of course, there are some workout sweatpants style too, but realistically, most of the costume are not really fit for fighting at all. On the other hand, Aloy's costume has a little more realism into it. It's stylish and functional, and it feels like it's more comfortable to wear. Also, it got a Hawaii tank top style she can wear in a snowy mountain. And how they would explore within the world. Both games features extensive experience when it comes to that, and two games are basically the competition between surviving in the concrete jungle versus real jungle. And climbing is one of the common things happening in the game. And this is where we start to see who's actually good at doing what. In Stella Blade, climbing is not the main thing. Her leg movement is pretty tight and lock pretty solid. Most energy is from her core and her arm. And she will swing a little sideways, one hand in the front and one hand in the back. And when she climbs up, it seems like she's only using her hand. You can actually tell the ability to climb is not on top of her resume. And when it comes to Aloy, in Horizon, since climbing is one of the most common things she does, her climbing is definitely fantastic, relaxed, and flexible. It even looks like she's a monkey. Also, this is the perfect place to point out the detail on their hair. Both of them has fantastic motion, but in Stella Blade it has much greater detail. You can literally see each hair moving by itself. The technology has grown a lot since 2020. Let's go back to climbing. When your feet is on the ground, the jumping is much cooler and smoother in Stella Blade. Eve can easily do a flip and land like a cat. You can tell it's embedded with Eastern martial arts style. On the other hand, Aloy in Horizon, her movement is simple and direct. Just climb, jump. Once you get over obstacles, the movement is a little glitched. So you can say as long as Eve has her feet on the ground, she's quick like a cat. Now it comes to the exciting part, combat. In Stella Blade, it features amazing choreography. Every single attack lands perfectly on the enemy and has a great rhythm. And the heavy attack leaving the sky, spin 3 times, feel like every single slice is going deep in the monster's skin. But the coolest part is actually not this, it's after we learn all the skill and combine them together. In Horizon Forbidden West, the fighting choreography can be summarized in one word, simple. Because close range combat is not actually the first thing on the list in Horizon Forbidden West. It's actually about using different kind of tools to fight in long range. And when it comes to real combat, which involve not only to attack, but receiving attack. In Stella Blade, you can fight enemy dead on and blocks attack from monsters that literally 3 times our size. It makes sense because Eve is an android and she has super strength. In Horizon Forbidden West, Aloy doesn't have the ability to block enemies because she's just a human clone. The only thing we can do is dodge and run. And that's why most of her skills are long range, not short range. Now let's compare the finisher. We're killing a boss. Like most Eastern games, it features an awesome finisher that will kill the boss like a piece of meat. And in Stella Blade, even a little monster has a finisher against us, which is quite cool. In Horizon Forbidden West, the only finisher is during a stealth attack, and when you use the booster gauge, which is actually pretty cool. But when you kill a boss, you pretty much got nothing, they just suddenly go down. Weapons. This is actually the coolest part. In Stella Blade, the blade is super futuristic. Eve can actually put it on her hair as a decoration. In Horizon Forbidden West, Aloy's regular weapons are hosted on her back, but as far as other cool gadgets, I don't know where it's at. And the weapon doesn't look futuristic, it's just basically different kind of bow and arrow. The enemies. In Horizon, the robots look like a bunch of different kind of animals, also behave like animals. As long as you stay away from them, they won't bother you. And only you can do a stealth attack, so they're not that smart. In Stella Blade, the monsters are actually quite smart. They probably have the same intelligence as a human being. They know how to set up a trap, and their only goal is to kill us. They even know how to hide and attack us from the dark, next to the supply, and if you slow down, you can actually see they have been standing there the whole time waiting for you to come. They know how to spot, but there is actually a way to avoid being attacked in the dark. We have the R3 scanning skill, and the graphic looks pretty dynamic. In Horizon Forbidden West, the scanning is done by a little AR thing on Aloy's ear, and of course, it is not as dynamic, but it does have an actual function of scanning enemies' weakness. Now we got all the combat stuff out, let's compare more about the pure exploration in the game. Both games feature swimming underwater. You can jump off a cliff, dive into water, and in Horizon you do have a limit when it comes to oxygen, until later on you find some device to breathe underwater. In Stella Blade we have unlimited oxygen in the beginning. We can find supply underwater, which is a similar box we have on land. In Horizon, this is actually the cool part. We'll be finding plants that's actually underwater, like seaweeds, to help ourselves. In Stella Blade, sometimes swimming can be a little off, but on land, finding supply is actually quite stylish. In Stella Blade, we actually kick the box, just like an annoying busy person living in a city. It's kind of funny. In Horizon, taking supply out of a box also accurately depicts a motion of a huntress. After we take the supply, we use it, and in Stella Blade, there's such a cool motion and recover blood. In Horizon, it's just accurate. And when it comes to the water, there's one thing actually quite astonishing. It's a little waterfall dripping from the building. When you're going there, the water actually splashes away. It's like you are taking a shower after a battle. And it would be cool if the developer make the character dusty after you fight, and you have to use water to look shining again. In Horizon, when you're going to the waterfall, there's no splash, but it does cut the water open, so it's not as realistic. And here's one more thing that Stella Blade actually does better, is having something floating on the water you can actually step on, like this board you can push around, walk back and forth, and it will change based on the gravity. It's quite realistic. And in Horizon Forbidden West, there's basically nothing exists that floats on the water. We wouldn't know how it actually looks like. In Stella Blade and Horizon Forbidden West, both has passcode puzzle, one through projection and one through actual display. Gathering material. In Horizon, we can gather material from dead robots, and in Stella Blade, we actually gather from our previous dead teammate. It's kind of savage. Jumping off the high ground. In Stella Blade, when you die, you actually have a very professional posture that you protect your head. In Horizon, you won't die because you got a little parachute, so you won't die from falling. Exploring the history of humankind. In Stella Blade, it's not much of exploring, it's more like judging, which is very Asian style. And in Horizon Forbidden West, because the past actually has more advanced technology than today, so it's actually more of an exciting journey to find out what people used to do. Finally, camping. This is actually the most ironic part in both games. In Horizon, even though you mostly travel in forest enjoying being alone, there actually civilization exists in the world. So as a lonely huntress who recently become a hero, Aloy can actually find a safe, well-rounded environment to relax, trade, and enjoy. On the other hand, Eve as a special squad member who trained to work as a team, turns out has to survive by herself because all her teammates died. And our so-called camp resting place is not safe at all. The monster can walk in any time. It's quite dangerous. And also, there are no sizable civilization exists, and her only partner is operating a robot far, far away. Now it has come to an end, and we basically compare almost everything in the game. And you can leave a comment down below to share what's your thoughts about both two games and what's your favorite.